Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to explore compelling stories and pull out those insights that really help you stay informed. Today, we're diving into something a bit different. We're using a fascinating story to kind of push back on a modern idea we hear all the time.
Right, the whole tech-free is the only way to connect thing.
Exactly. Is that always true? We're asking, what if those very devices we try to escape, what if they could actually, forge deeper family connections? In the right situation, of course.
That's the core question we're exploring. We're looking at a specific narrative called Gates Family, a Montana summer of code and connection.
Okay.
Now, to be clear, this is a crafted story. It draws inspiration from maybe some general values or themes associated with Bill Gates' family, but it's fictional. It's not history.
Got it. So not a biography.
No, definitely not. Our mission here is to look at this story and see what insights it offers about parenting, about learning, about how people connect. We're really interested in what this narrative suggests happens when a tech detox. Well, when it goes off script.
Off script in a good way, maybe?
Potentially, yes. How that twist might reveal something deeper about engagement, skill building, and family dynamics.
Okay, let's unpack this story then.
Yeah.
So the setting is the early 2000s. Personal computers are everywhere, but it's still different than now.
Right. Pre-smartphone ubiquity, pre-social media saturation.
And in this story, you have Bill Gates playing the role of this billionaire dad. He decides, okay, let's get the kids, Jennifer, Rory, and Phoebe, away from all the digital noise.
A total escape.
Yep. Takes them to this remote cabin in Montana. Beautiful, rugged, completely off the grid. His vision, a tech-free summer.
Sounds idyllic on paper.
Right. The goal was solid. Reinforce family values, reconnect without screens. But, as you can probably guess, the kids were not immediately fans.
Boredom set in pretty quickly.
Profound boredom is how the story puts it. You can almost picture it, can't you? That nothing-to-do vibe. It's that initial resistance, that friction, that really sets the scene for what comes next.
It's a classic setup, isn't it? Good intentions meeting the reality of, well, modern kids.
Yeah.
The story shows that initial struggle, that sort of generational disconnect about what leisure or fun even looks like. He's looking for simple interpersonal connection.
And they're used to a world buzzing with digital interaction.
Exactly. And that friction is important because it makes the turnaround, the shift later in the story, feel much more significant. It kind of highlights that if you take something away, you often need to thoughtfully fill that space with something else.
Okay, so that leads us to the twist. This is where it gets really interesting.
The catalyst moment.
Yes. So in the narrative, Bill brings along an old computer, like an ancient boxy thing.
Not for checking email, presumably.
No, it's purely nostalgic.
Yeah.
A relic from his own youth, a reminder of his early days. It's just there.
A piece of history in the corner.
But then this dusty old machine becomes the key. It sparks an idea, a fictional challenge he poses to the kids.
Okay.
He suggests they compete to create a simple app using BASIC.
BASIC. Wow, talk about retro. Beginner's all-purpose symbolic instruction code. Takes you back, doesn't it?
It really does. And the choice is deliberate in the story. It's meant to be simple, almost like plain English instructions for the computer. Easy to learn.
And crucially, it echoes his own beginnings, right? Giving them a taste of that same foundational logic he started with.
Exactly. It's a connection to his past, offered as a challenge to them.
And what's so fascinating there, I think, is how that object, the old computer, transforms. It stops being just a nostalgic prop.
It becomes a tool.
A tool for engagement, active engagement. It shifts everything from passive screen time, which is the usual worry, right, to active creation, building something. And that change from using tech to building with tech, that's huge.
It lights a different fire, doesn't it?
It really does, especially framed as a fun challenge, something they do together. It's not just problem solving in general. It's that specific coding mindset. Trying things, seeing what breaks, figuring out why. Yes. Identifying patterns, testing ideas. It completely recontextualizes the technology. It goes from potential distraction to a source of focused creative energy and shared learning.
That's a great point, the shift from passive to active. But what do you think really made it click for the kids in the story? Was it just the novelty, the old machine?
Yeah.
Or was it deeper? Maybe something about the challenge itself.
That's a really good question. I suspect it was a mix. I mean, yeah, the retro factor probably had some appeal, right? Imagine kids used to slick interfaces suddenly looking at a blinking cursor on a green screen.
Yeah, quite a change.
But I think More deeply, it was the purposeful constraint. He didn't just give them like a modern tablet with endless apps.
No, his basic tools, specific problem.
Exactly. A raw tool and a clear goal. It felt like real exploration, like solving a puzzle, not just another piece of entertainment.
Yeah.
It tapped into that natural human drive to build, to understand. And importantly, it was a shared goal, something for the family to rally around.
And the story really digs into how this challenge starts revealing things about the kids. Bill, the dad character, starts noticing these unique talents emerging.
Talents that maybe weren't obvious before.
Right. Or hadn't had this specific way to come out. Like Jennifer, she apparently had a real knack for the user experience side.
Oh, interesting. Like how it would look and feel.
Yes, sketching flowcharts for their little game or app, thinking about how someone would actually use it, placement, colors even. She was basically being the UX designer.
Wow, even in BASIC.
Mm-hmm. And then Rory, he was drawn more to the pure logic, the problem solving.
Getting stuck into the code itself.
Totally. Finding bugs, fixing loops, making things run efficiently. That was his thing.
The satisfaction of making it work.
Exactly. And Phoebe, the youngest, she brought this unexpected element. Storytelling.
Storytelling in a BASIC app.
Yeah, maybe crafting a simple text adventure or just making the prompts and messages engaging, giving it some personality.
That's fascinating.
So the process of building this simple thing together, it really shines a light on their individual strengths. And it lets Bill, in the story, see his kids in this new, more appreciative light.
And if you zoom out from the story for a second, that really shows how these kinds of structured challenges, even simple ones like coding in BASIC, can act like mirrors.
Mirrors. How so?
Well, they don't just teach skills, they reflect back abilities that might already be there, just waiting for the right context. Latent talents.
Things people didn't know they were good at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It connects to ideas about situated learning. Skills pop out when you apply them to real, meaningful problems. You see it all the time, right?
Yeah.
A kid might be quiet in class but comes alive doing a hands-on project.
Yeah, totally.
For this fictional family, building that program wasn't just about code. It was about building self-awareness, building respect for each other's different abilities through doing something together.
That makes a lot of sense. The challenge is a mirror. But devil's advocate for a second. Is there a risk that kind of challenge imposes a direction? Like, was choosing coding maybe limiting in its own way?
That's a really sharp question. There's always a balance, isn't there?
Yeah.
But I think in this story, the limitation, the old computer, the basic language, the coding task, it actually served a purpose. It wasn't about discovering any old talent. It was focused on skills related to logic, problem solving, creativity within a set framework.
Okay.
And the cool part is how each kid found a different way to shine within that same framework. Design, logic, narrative.
So the constraints maybe channeled their creativity in different directions.
I think that's what the story suggests, yeah. That sometimes a nudge towards a specific activity doesn't narrow possibilities, but actually reveals unexpected strengths by giving them a place to emerge.
Okay, so they're bonding, they're creating, finding skills, and then the story throws a curveball.
Ah, the next complication.
Right. Just as they found this new rhythm, turning screen time into connection time, a big storm hits.
Nature intervenes.
Seriously. Traps them in the Montana cabin. Power goes out. It's dramatic.
Okay, real stakes now.
And here's the brilliant twist in the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
The cabin generator fails. They need to fix it. It's dark, cold, their only source of power.
And how do they tackle that?
They instinctively use the same logic they just learned coding. That systematic, step-by-step problem solving.
No way. From coding a simple app to fixing a generator.
Yes. It's presented as this amazing moment of transfer. Abstract knowledge suddenly becoming incredibly practical and urgent. Under pressure.
Wow. That really speaks to the idea of knowledge transfer, doesn't it? Taking something learned in one context and applying it somewhere totally different.
Definitely.
The story makes a powerful point there. The debugging mindset they developed with the code, isolating the problem, testing solutions methodically.
Is it a wire? Is it this part? Check this, check that.
Exactly. That same diagnostic thinking gets applied to a physical machine. It's not just about fixing the generator. It's about using their new shared intellectual toolkit together in a crisis.
And that must have strengthened the bond even more.
Absolutely. It reinforces not just the technical thinking, but teamwork, communication under stress, resilience. They're literally building connections by solving a problem that really matters. It shows how knowledge becomes truly powerful when you use it, especially in unexpected ways.
So let's bring it all together. What's the big takeaway here? The story, Gates Family, a Montana summer of code and connection. It wraps up with the family feeling much closer, more connected.
A stronger unit.
Yeah. And there's some pretty powerful parenting lessons kind of woven into this fictional tale, aren't there?
Definitely.
What started as a push for a tech-free summer actually ended up using technology, albeit old tech, and a specific challenge to build the very connection and understanding they were seeking.
It's a wonderful paradox, as you said earlier.
Yeah, the thing they tried to escape became the bridge.
It really synthesizes the main points beautifully. There's that irony, yes, but also a deep insight. This tech-free idea, when it took that unexpected turn, showed how tech can strengthen ties.
If used in the right way.
If used creatively, collaboratively, it can open doors to growth, to discovering hidden talents, to real connection, instead of just being the distraction we often assume it is.
It flips the usual script, doesn't it? Not just screen time bad.
Exactly. It shows technology as a potential catalyst for meaningful interaction and learning if we approach it with intention. It shifts the focus from whether we use tech to how we use it.
Are we passive consumers or active creators?
Isolated users or collaborative problem solvers. The story strongly hints that the second path leads to much richer results for individuals and families.
So there you have it. We went from this idea of a tech-free retreat, the boredom, to this unexpected connection built around an old computer and a coding challenge. This deep dive, using this fictional Gates family story, it really does shine a light on some universal ideas about learning, family life, and the complex role technology plays.
It's often more nuanced than we think.
Definitely. It reminds us that sometimes the best connections happen when we adapt, when we find creative ways to engage with the tools we have.
And maybe that leaves us and you listening with a final thought to chew on. Perhaps the ultimate goal isn't a purely tech-free existence, but rather figuring out how to thoughtfully choose how we engage with technology.
Choosing ways that build connection.
Yes, ways that help us discover new potential in ourselves and in our families. What if those tools we sometimes write off as mere distractions? What if they could actually be pathways? Pathways to understanding, to bonding, just like that old computer became for the fictional Gates family in that cabin. Maybe think about it. Where in your own life could technology or maybe a shared challenge become a bridge to bring people closer, to spark that collaborative discovery and connection? Something to consider.